Tonight on To The Point, a historic address.
It's been the honor of my life to serve as your president.
What's next for President Biden, no longer seeking re-election? Protesters surround Capitol Hill as Israel's prime minister addresses Congress over the ongoing Israel-Hamas war.
It's been quite some time since we've seen a couple of 80s in our forecast, but they're headed our way. How long it'll stick around.
And later, the heat turning even deadlier in Sacramento. The warnings to know about heat stroke. Good evening. Thank you for joining us on To The Point. I'm Becca Habiger. Alex Bell is off tonight. Less than an hour ago, President Joe Biden addressed the nation for the first time since announcing he's no longer seeking re-election. This is the first time in more than 50 years a sitting U.S. president has delivered a speech like this. So here's what he had to say to America about dropping out of the race.
In recent weeks, it's become clear to me that I need to unite my party in this critical endeavor. I believe my record as president, my leadership in the world, my vision for America's future, all merited a second term. But nothing can come in the way of saving our democracy. That includes personal ambition. So I've decided the best way forward is to pass the torch to a new generation.
The president says he plans to stay in office and work out the rest of his term. He says he will be focused on doing things like lowering costs for hardworking families, growing the economy, and defending the right to personal freedoms. He also touted some of his accomplishments in his administration and shared his support for Vice President Kamala Harris, saying she's experienced, she's tough, and she's capable. And today was another busy day for Kamala Harris as she continued campaigning for president in Indianapolis. ABC 10's Jeannie Nguyen is here to share with us what Harris is promising to voters and how some people are responding.
Becca, many strategists have already said that Kamala Harris will use her position on Roe versus Wade to attract voters. And today she made that one of her promises to restore those rights. Still, analysts believe this will be a tight race to the White House.
With your support, I am fighting for our nation's future.
Vice President Kamala Harris stayed focused on her campaign on Wednesday as President Joe Biden delivered remarks on why he's no longer seeking re-election. Republican analysts telling ABC 10 his decision to drop out and endorse his VP most likely started with a debate against Donald Trump.
The debate had put a major it put a lot of space between Donald Trump and President Biden. And so, I do think that the Democrats were scared.
Following Biden's endorsement, Harris quickly started her campaign. Democratic strategists say they believe one of her tactics will be her stance on abortion rights.
I think women on the Roe v. Wade issue, she's going to be there 100%. And I think she's going to draw out a lot of women to vote.
During her appearance in Indianapolis, Harris criticized Trump's involvement in overturning Roe versus Wade.
When I am president of the United States, and when Congress passes a law to restore those freedoms, I will sign it into law.
But Trump's running mate, Senator J.D. Vance, doubled down on issues currently impacting the community.
I have people who've worked for me who make good salaries and they can't afford to buy a house in the Kamala Harris economy.
Now, state campaign finance records show in 2014, Donald Trump donated $6,000 to Kamala Harris's campaign for California Attorney General. Records also show both Donald and Ivanka Trump donated $3,000 total to Gavin Newsom in 2009, Becca.
Yeah, Jeannie, and speaking of Gavin Newsom, the governor released a new podcast today. It's called Politickin', hosted by Newsom, former NFL running back Marshawn Lynch, and NFL agent Doug Hendrickson. It was supposed to premiere earlier this month, but they delayed that after the attempted assassination of former President Trump. In today's premiere episode, the hosts recorded a fresh introduction commenting on this weekend's news that Biden is out of the race for president and Vice President Kamala Harris is in, though Marshawn Lynch had questions for Newsom.
What have you guys been up to the last 40 hours?
And I've been tripping, trying to figure out why I ain't seen my boy Batman running for president. That's what I've been doing. I've been trying to figure out why dog ain't running for president. In my lifetime, I don't think I never seen the president drop out like that.
Wait, I wasn't sitting down when I got the word. I was on my treadmill. That was the last thing I was expecting on a quiet Sunday.
Did President Biden call you?
I get all these text messages from the White House saying the president's trying to get in touch with you, but I didn't even see them.
So this was our first time hearing so candidly from Newsom about his reaction to the news. He says his phone was blowing up and he even missed calls from President Biden and Vice President Harris. Now, speaking of Harris, Newsom offered an enthusiastic endorsement, singing her praises as a candidate for president.
You got Kamala Harris, it's just lighting it up right now. You got your own Oakland girl. Oakland through and through, Alameda County prosecutor is going to prosecute the case.
I wonder if she prosecuted my daddy.
Person of conviction running against a guy with 434 convictions. This is a moment. American history is being made in real time, Marshawn.
Again, the show is called Politickin' and is available wherever you get your podcasts. Today, thousands of pro-Palestinian protesters from across the country met in Washington, D.C. to surround Capitol Hill as Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu addressed Congress. Demonstrators are calling for a ceasefire in the Israel-Hamas war. It comes as the Israeli Prime Minister addressed Congress this afternoon for the fourth time, the most of any foreign leader. During the speech, he vowed a total victory in Gaza and denounced U.S. protesters. Here is ABC's Alexis Christoforous with the latest.
The Prime Minister of the State of Israel.
In a historic fourth speech before a joint meeting of Congress, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu trying to win support from both parties for his country and its war against Hamas.
When we stand together, something very simple happens. We win, they lose.
Netanyahu recognizing Noah Argamani, who was taken hostage and rescued from Gaza. The prime minister invited to Capitol Hill by House Speaker Mike Johnson and Senate Republican leader Mitch McConnell. Dozens of Democratic lawmakers skipping the speech, expressing their disapproval over the thousands of civilian deaths and the humanitarian crisis from the war.
It will be the first time in American history that a war criminal has been given that honor.
Michigan Representative Rashida Tlaib did attend. She's the only Palestinian American in Congress and in the past has called for Netanyahu's arrest.
The prosecutor of the International Criminal Court has shamefully accused Israel of deliberately starving the people of Gaza. This is utter, complete nonsense.
Noticeably absent, Vice President Kamala Harris, president of the Senate, and Republican vice presidential nominee Senator J.D. Vance, each of their teams saying they were attending previously scheduled events. The prime minister also calling for stronger action against Iran, which supports militant groups fighting Israel.
This is not a clash of civilizations. It's a clash between barbarism and civilization.
Outside the Capitol, thousands of protesters making their presence known amid tight security.
Ceasefire now! Ceasefire now!
The Prime Minister is expected to meet with families of American Israeli hostages held by Hamas while he is in Washington this week. He's also set to meet privately with President Biden and Vice President Harris tomorrow and with former President Trump at Mar-a-Lago on Friday. Well, next on To The Point, Sacramento County reporting another heat-related death. The warnings to know about heat stroke.
We're also tracking a new fire. This one, the Park Fire near Butte County. We're seeing some pretty gusty winds out there. How long these will continue.
Plus, new body camera video just released showing tense moments after the attempted assassination of Donald Trump. What we're learning tonight about the suspected shooter. Tonight, we're tracking several wildfires burning right now. First in Calaveras County, crews are working to contain the Maria fire. It's burning in the McKellamey Hill and Mountain Ranch area. Cal Fire says it's burned more than 65 acres and is 20% contained. All evacuation orders have been reduced to warnings. Cal Fire also says that some firefighters have gotten minor injuries from the fire. It's still unclear what sparked this. And happening now in Butte County, crews are battling the Park Fire. It's burning in the upper Bidwell area. Cal Fire says it's currently burned more than 600 acres. Evacuation orders and warnings have been put in place north of Chico and east of Cohasset. Chief Meteorologist Monica Woods joins us. Monica, still some persistent fire danger weather we're seeing.
Right, especially because of the gusty winds. We kind of got a sense of that down low for the valley, and that will be a part of our forecast through tomorrow. Current winds, as you can see, are still at about 15 to 20 miles per hour, and humidity is really low. So those two elements, plus in the background, all the heat that we've been dealing with, is going to put us with that elevated fire danger through tomorrow for the Valley, foothills, and the Delta. We'll continue to monitor that. Here's the latest scene right now in Butte County where the Park Fire is. You can see it's just off to the east of I-5 near Chico and Paradise. We'll be tracking that through tonight. Our heat advisory expires finally at 11 o'clock tonight, so we will see some cooler weather ahead. But tonight, it's still one of those evenings to definitely kind of keep the outdoor activity on the down low. Our temperatures for today deep into the 100s after morning lows in the 70s, almost 80 for a low in Modesto, and that's all leading to some of the conditions that we've had to be dealing with over the past several weeks. Future weather for tonight will finally cool into the 80s by 9 p.m. and we'll keep it in the 80s, eventually getting to those forecast lows in the upper 60s to right around 70. Our low pressure system driving its way southward here is going to help initiate that breeze and the cooler weather coming in, especially for the weekend. We're going to be tracking the cooler weather all into our Saturday and Sunday. Last weekend of July is going to be one of the coolest that we've seen for about the past month and a half. Temperatures start off near 70 tomorrow. We warm to highs in the mid to upper 90s through at least Sacramento. Some of the outlying areas were still in the 100s. 80s tomorrow for the Sierra with 90s to near 100 for the foothills across the coast. We're in the 60s already, starting to see some of the cooling take shape. 90s as we head right along that I-80 line, and then north and south of that, we're still looking at highs in the 100s. Our 5-day regional forecast, we're going to eliminate the thunderstorms from the outlook in the mountains. For the foothills, cooling conditions with highs in the 80s this weekend, and for the coast, we're going to keep it in the 60s there. Our 3-day forecast showcasing at least the start of the weekend with highs in the 80s. We'll continue that through Sunday. Now, you're starting to see the trend here as we expand our 10-day forecast. We are going to be bringing back some warmer weather to start off the month of August with highs back near 100.
Monica, thank you. Well, next on To The Point, the FBI releasing new details about the suspected shooter involved in Trump's assassination attempt. Plus, what we're learning tonight about 2 CAL FIRE workers killed in a plane crash. Turning now to the investigation into the attempted assassination of former President Donald Trump. FBI Director Christopher Wray appeared before the House Judiciary Committee, providing new details about the suspected gunman. ABC News obtained newly released body camera video from after the shooting, and we want to warn you, some of the images you're about to see you might find disturbing. ABC's Jacqueline Lee has more.
Newly released body camera video obtained by ABC News shows the chaotic moments after former President Donald Trump's attempted assassination.
The suspect is directly above us.
In this police helmet camera, you can see officers racing up a ladder on the side of the building where they discover the shooter's body.
Need to set up a solid perimeter around this building.
Officers counting shell casings.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. At least 8.
The video showing an assault-style rifle lying next to the shooter and a small device. This as multiple sources tell ABC News that the Secret Service has asked the Trump campaign to stop holding outdoor rallies. Today on Capitol Hill, FBI Director Christopher Wray appearing before Congress.
The attempted assassination of the former president was an attack on our democracy and our democratic process, and we will not and do not tolerate political violence of any kind, especially a despicable account of this magnitude.
And stating the shooter flew a drone about 200 yards from the rally venue, with it in the air for about 11 minutes. Wray also confirming 2 explosive devices were found in the shooter's car and 1 in his residence.
I would say these are relatively, again, keyword relatively crude devices themselves, but they did have the ability to be detonated remotely.
And after FBI analyzed a laptop connected to the shooter, a discovery.
On July 6th, he did a Google search for, quote, how far away was Oswald from Kennedy? And so that's a search that obviously is significant in terms of his state of mind.
Wray says they still have not determined a motive for the assassination attempt and are still analyzing the shooter's digital devices. And tonight, we're learning that 2 men with ties to our region were killed in a plane crash in Humboldt County. They were contractors who work with CAL FIRE, employed by a company called Amentum. At the time, they were going out to fix a CAL FIRE helicopter. The FAA says they left from McClellan Airport in Sacramento County and crashed near Neyland Airport around 11:30 Tuesday morning. It was hard news to hear for the team members at the CAL FIRE Aviation Management hangar, one telling us a plaque outside the hangar dedicated to the crews who protect lives carries even more weight today.
You know, every day when we come to work, we walk by this plaque and we don't really think about it, but as of yesterday, we've started to really pay attention to, you know, what we do.
The National Transportation Safety Board is investigating the crash. Right now, the cause is still unknown. The identities of the victims are not being released until family is notified. Tonight, Sacramento police are investigating after a man died while in custody Tuesday. The department says it started as a welfare check. Officers were called to Jasmine Street in Del Paso Heights after a family member said a man was threatening to harm himself and was under the influence of drugs. Investigators say the man had a knife and ran to get inside a parked car. Police were able to get the man out of the car, but say he later became unresponsive while in the back of a patrol car. Officers say medical aid was issued and the man was taken to the hospital, but he later died. An investigation is ongoing. Tonight, Sacramento County is reporting another heat-related death. A South Sacramento man in his 70s died following heat stroke. ABC 10's Luke Clary is speaking with his family and emergency responders.
Another triple-digit day in Sacramento, a reminder of the deadly heat wave that peaked earlier this month. On July 3rd, when the temperature hit 108, 77-year-old Albert Idadis assured his wife that it would be okay to drive his car from their South Sacramento home to O'Reilly Auto Parts just a few blocks away. After walking out of the auto parts store, Albert Idadis returned to his vehicle, according to his wife, and that's where he started experiencing symptoms of heat stroke. Paramedics with the Sacramento Fire Department rushed him to UC Davis Medical Center. After 9 days on life support, Albert Idadis, the retired upholsterer and Vietnam combat veteran, didn't make it.
This is very tragic. To lose someone in our community due to a preventable heat-related illness, it's a very sad deal.
Justin Sylvia says with this summer's extreme heat, crews have been out on more heat-related calls than usual. On July 6th, when the temperature hit 113, heat stroke also claimed the life of a man in his late 50s in North Sacramento after his air conditioning failed. Sylvia says it's important to know the signs of heat stroke.
That heart rate's going to come down. You're going to start having some altered level of consciousness. You're not going to be acting right, and you're going to stop that sweating.
The wife of Albert Idadis says that she was shocked when she received the call from the hospital. Surreal to lose him so quickly.
The man's wife adds that if only her husband hadn't gone out that day in that heat, she believes he would still be alive. And that, of course, is the tragic thing about these deadly heat strokes. Experts say they are often so preventable. New tonight, Safe Ground Sacramento says it's terminating its lease with the city of Sacramento for that site that Camp Resolution is on. The group says it's stepping away due to various barriers to attain shared goals between the group, the camp, and the city. The Sacramento Homeless Union, however, says they do not want the lease terminated. As of right now, the termination is effective on August 10th, and it's unclear what the city could do next. In your price points tonight, covered California rates are going up. This is the state's health insurance assistance plan. Today, they announced the rates and plans for 2025, and it includes a nearly 8% rate increase. Covered California says the increase is due to the rise in health care use, pharmacy costs, the rising cost of care and labor shortages, and the rates still need final approval. They'll go into effect on January 1st. Well, next on To the Point, former employees expressing concerns about Sequest, the popular Folsom Zoo and Aquarium. We take a look at our investigation into the company. For nearly a year, ABC 10 has been investigating allegations of animal mistreatment at Sequest Aquarium and Zoo in Folsom. The popular aquarium allows customers to pet and feed animals After our first investigation aired in February, nearly 20 former employees came forward sounding the alarm. They say Sequest's corporate team uses animals to make money and that they were not given the tools to properly care for the animals. They say many of the animals have fallen ill and even died at Sequest Folsom.
This corporation is run by business people, not animal experts.
We're not supposed to tell anyone that anything died. If something is deceased in a tank, pretend it's alive. And then we'll just go get a new one, kind of thing.
These former employees say they are speaking in hopes of being a voice for the animals and to shine a light on what's really happening behind closed doors at Sequest. You can watch the full investigation into Sequest tomorrow at 6:30 p.m. right here on To The Point. Well, thank you so much for watching and inviting us into your home. If you have something you think we should be looking into, please send the team an email at tothepoint@abc10.com. Have a good night, stay cool, and we'll see you back here tomorrow.
Hey, it's Alex. I just wanted to say thank you so much for watching. The To The Point team and I love hearing from you, and I hope that you'll stay in touch. And don't forget, you can always email me and the team at tothepoint@abc10.com, or you can even send us a text message at 916-321-3310.